Okay.
We can hear
Good morning, Cedar Rapids. Hey, salutations. Okay.
Brothers, let us all unite!
you. Would rather have us keep the internet than have peace in the world. Like, no, I gotta have my internet.
Live in front of an internet audience, it is the I'm Clifford Today show. We're back, even though haven't really been gone. And there's the baby. There's Lisa. She's here joining us today on the live stream. I apologize for the video is still not that great today, but you know, man, yeah, it's not that great. Oh well, we'll continue on and it'll be okay. But I'm back on the grid, and that's what we're talking about today. That's what the thing is. I've been off of social media for a whole month, even though past couple days I've been kinda on social media, but doing my best to like avoid news feeds and all that. But I am afraid that there may have been a couple things that I kinda got spoiled for already, but you know, nothing that big. Actually, I'm gonna close out of Facebook here. I don't need to go on Facebook to. Lisa is gonna be sending me articles and links to the news today, and I realized, hey, I've got my phone here. I can look at things on there instead of using up all my computer power for Facebook. So that'll be one less thing it'll have to worry about. But yeah, so anyways, intro music by John Bartman. John Bartman music. No, it's just johnbartman.com. And today we are joined by Three Sides Live. Three Sides Live by Genesis. It's a great live album from those guys. I think we're nearing the end of the Genesis track for albums of the week. Also, don't forget that got some new merch. You can buy some shirts, you can buy some hoodies and sweaters and mugs even. I need to get me one of my own mugs. It's a good way to support me, and it's a good way to if you just want to look fashionable and trendy, get some of my stuff. You'll be the talk of the town. So, and I'm trying to think. Housekeeping. Is there any housekeeping? Actually, yes, there is. Had a few comments on the latest live stream, and I want to get to those. So Mr. Jesus Freak Eric, I actually gave him a shout out on the last episode, and if you guys missed it, it was the ranking all the Newsboys albums. And Lisa was there for that. She was there in person, which, by the way, she's coming to us live from Iowa, her hometown in Iowa. So that's why she's on the screen. But Mr. Jesus Freak Eric says, thanks for the shout out. As a 30-year-old, the Newsboys Peter Furler era I grew up with. I think he's trying to say I grew up with the Newsboys Peter Furler era. It was also one of my favorite Christian bands too growing up. As far as albums, my favorite is Thrive, tied with Take Me to Your Leader, because I love the guitar cranks and the lyrics were deep, fun, and worshipfully written. As a songwriter, it was an influence to my songs to come. My least favorite would be Restart and God's Not Dead. Yeah, I mean, yeah, those are both Michael Tate albums. So, anyways, I look forward to more of your channel. God bless, Eric. Well, thanks, Eric. Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I am not 30 years old, but I'm 2 years away from that. So, we're in the same boat right there. But yeah, Thrive and Take Me to Your Leader, definitely like probably their most rocky albums for sure. More of an emphasis on the rock in those albums. So yeah, I don't think there was anything else. I didn't have any poll results or question results, which you guys need to get on those, all you Spotify listeners. We got questions and polls in the Spotify episodes, so you guys need to check those out for sure. Okay, I guess let's get right to it. So yeah, I've been off of social media, and which was great. And Lisa, you got some juicy stuff for us today, some spicy news. Any I'm sure.
Do you want me to start sending you stuff?
Yeah, you can send me stuff, and I can just kind of give a little rundown of exactly how this past month has gone. I was off of social media for the most part. I was still on YouTube, but which I'm kind of wishing that I think next year, I think I really want to go all out sometime, because what Dave Rubin does, which obviously, by the way, I get inspiration from for this idea. I'm not shy of that. But what he gets completely off of everything. He doesn't use his phone. He doesn't use the internet for anything. He's just off of it. I was just like, oh, I'm just going to get off Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, which I'm barely on Twitter anyways. And I'll avoid certain channels on YouTube, so I wasn't watching my usual favorites, or even podcasts as well. I wasn't watching any of my political stuff because I didn't want to come across any news or anything. And I even avoided Jordan Peterson podcasts and videos. Some Ben Shapiro stuff, Ruslan KD stuff. But the thing is that I since I was still using YouTube, because, I had to have my funny videos, my fun, entertaining videos, I would still come across thumbnails and titles and accidentally read them. And I might have gotten kind of spoiled for some things, for just a few things. But so there's a few things that we might talk about today that I maybe already kind of knew about. And also just kind of word of mouth stuff, of course, which is fine. My mom is very politically engaged, and so sometimes I would hear her rant about something that Joe Biden did that got her upset, So I know about some of those stuff. I know about the whole Biden forgiven thousands and thousands of dollars in student loan debts and such. So that happened. But I figured that in terms of if there was any Christian news out there, that I wouldn't come across a lot of it, but there was a few things. And so what I'm saying is I think next year I want to try to be a little bit more hardcore about it, just a little bit. If I decide to do this again next year, we'll see how this goes. Do you have really any high hopes, Lisa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
What was that?
think you'll do it.
Okay. We'll see. Well, I'll go to your messages here and I'll see what you got. This one I actually
At a time.
what?
I'm sending them one at a time.
Okay, yeah, that's good. I got this first one. I'm sorry if I have to say like what, because sometimes it cuts out, and it might be because I speak over you or something. So bear with us, folks. This one I actually knew about because I get notified on Spotify when new stuff comes out, but we can talk about it. So Newsboys release new digital single King of Kings out everywhere now. This is from Jesus Freak Hideout. They got some I appreciate a lot of Jesus Freak stuff. But the thing is that it features none other than Bart Millard of Mercy Me, which is not one of my favorite bands ever. I never saw like a Mercy Me and Newsboys collab ever happening, but I guess it makes sense because they make the same music. Pretty much. So I did take a listen to it, and it is weird hearing both Michael Tate and Bart Millard's voices sing over each other. I'll read the article though, because I have not read all of this before. The Christian music group Newsboys recently released their take on the popular worship song King of Kings. Oh, I guess I didn't realize that it was already a popular song. Of course, another Christian band covering another band. The up-tempo version features additional vocals from Bart Millard of Mercy Me. When we heard this song for the first time, we were so struck by the story it tells and the reminder that it brings, said lead vocalist Michael Tate. Even while Satan comes to steal, kill and destroy, sorry, I'm burping, we continue to serve the King of Kings. I mean, we couldn't really write our own song to tell that story, but sorry, I'm sure that there's going to be a little bit of sass, you know. Additionally, the group announces their Stand Together tour with special guests Coheed and Cambria. Just kidding. It's Cochran and Co. Adam A.G. and Jeremy Rosado. I think I know Adam A.G. I have no idea who Jeremy Rosado is. Set to kick off October 6th in Champaign, Illinois. Oh. Well, I mean, I'm like very close to Champaign. It's interesting that they start the tour off there. The tour will also make stops in Missouri, Florida, Oklahoma, Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas throughout the fall. Tickets for the tour will go on sale Tuesday, August 9th. Well, I missed it. Dang it. I missed the sale. Really wanted to go. And then there's a whole about Newsboys section. But, yeah. Did you take a listen to it, Lisa? At all?
Nope.
Nope. Yeah, you're not missing much. It's pretty much what you'd expect. I think, actually, now that I think about it, I think King of Kings is a Hillsong song. Does that sound right?
Oh.
Okay.
Don't listen to music.
You don't listen to music. Yeah, me neither. I don't even know why I have this channel. Okay, so that happened, and we had to suffer for it. Okay, I'll go to the next thing that you have here. Which, by the way, I have some, there are also some things that some fans sent in, some followers, you know. So We'll be reacting to those once we get through this. Ren Collective announces upcoming album and tour. Okay. The worship band from Northern Ireland, Ren Collective, recently announced the release of their new album, Whosoever, available on August 26th. Oh, so it's out. Does that mean I have to review it? I don't know. I should be keeping...
If you want to...
I don't know. I'm not crazy about Ren Collective. I might have mentioned this in the episode where we talked about Llewellyn from Ren Collective. But Ren Collective to me is like the poor man's Christian version of like the Lumineers and Mumford and Sons, you know. Because I remember when they started to become popular, I was already into the folk scene, and I was just like, it just really felt like Christianity trying to, like, you know, cash in on when folk music got popular, you know. So anyways, today fans can pre-order the album as well as get a new song, Let It Roll. Let It Roll. Celebrating the release of Let It Roll, the band premiered a live performance video filmed in Ireland. This record is about the wide, generous embrace of God, shares Ren Collective. Wide enough for prodigal sons stumbling home, wide enough for cynical older brothers. That means me. Wide enough to wrap around any label we might apply to ourselves or others. The bold, soaring... Maybe I should be reading this in Irish accent. The bold, soaring claim of John 3:16 is that God so loved the world so that whosoever believes in him shall not perish. This offer is extended with no asterisks or fine print, transcending the silly tribal lines we draw between each other. The gospel is for whosoever, and that's good news because it includes all the people we love, and scandalously the ones we struggle to love. This is a story big enough, hopeful enough, and inspiring enough to keep us singing forever. How was that? I feel like that was a bit too Lucky Charms-ish, maybe. Yeah. Oh well. I should have taken notes. I should take notes from my GPS voice, my Siri voice, because my Siri voice has an Irish accent. Earlier this summer, Ren Collective released their song Plans. Well, I want to say I actually kind of appreciate what they're saying here, because I feel like when people talk about, oh, we need to love each other, you know, but then when it comes to the people that they have problems with and that they disagree with, they're like, not so much, you know. I don't feel like loving those people, those highly religious types or whatever. But they actually say, like, the good news is for everyone, even for those we struggle to love. Even, what was it they said? They said, our cynical older brothers, which that's nice. It's very interesting. Anyways, the article seems to talk about a tour. Earlier this summer, they released a song called Plans, which is a part of the album. Plans aims to remind their listeners that even in the hardest times, a global pandemic, a loss, a health struggle, and when you haven't seen the answers to your prayer, God has plans for you. Sometimes he has plans for you to suffer. Just kidding, but not really. Okay. Well, Ren Collective, new album, and I guess it's out. It's out now. So, I don't know. Maybe if I don't really have anything to listen to, I'll check it out. But, oh, okay. Is this the Dove Awards? The Dove Award nominees. This was earlier in August. Chris Tomlin, Jimmy Allen, Erica Campbell, and more to reveal 53rd Annual Dove Awards nominees. This article is from GMA. Good Morning America. No, it's Gospel Music Association. Watch Chris Tomlin, Jimmy. No, I don't want to. Oh,
Well,
so
I guess the awards were on the 10th.
oh, okay. Maybe we can find what
Nice.
those were. Cause yeah, this is just kind of announcing who the guest artists were, which were Chris Tomlin, of course, Erica Campbell. I don't think I know her. Brandon Lake. He's everyone's favorite from Elevation Worship. The long-haired curly dude, which is cool. We haven't really had a long-haired curly dude, a curly long-haired dude in Christian music since Phil Joel. And Phil Joel, while he's still active, no one really talks about him anymore. Ty Tribbett, I recognize the name. Jimmy Allen, it's Tim Allen's son. No, it's not. He's black and Tim Allen's not. Trip Lee, I actually met Trip Lee once at a youth convention. He seems cool. Sonia Isaacs, don't really know her. Evan Kraft, don't know him. Okay. Well, hopefully we can find the actual nominees. So the nominee announcements were on August 10th, or oh well. People who already know like what happened are like, "No, that's you idiot." Okay. Got anything else? Okay, already. Here we go. Here are the nominees. So
There's a lot.
yeah, there is. Let's see. What time are we at? We got a few minutes. We can quickly go through these. Oh, out of 183 entries. Oops.
Yeah, maybe just pick and choose like Songwriter of the Year or Artist of the Year.
So these are nominees. They haven't picked the winners yet, I guess. So the Dove Awards haven't happened yet, right?
No, I don't think so.
There's a lot to go through. But yeah, Song of the
Never.
Years. Well, is it just one page? Okay, let's see. Song of the Years, Be All Right. Why isn't it saying the artist? It's not saying the artist. It's only giving the songwriters. I think I know that song. You know what? Let's just go to songwriter. Or artist of the year. Let's do that. So the artists of the year for the Dove Awards, their nominees are CeCe Winans, which is interesting because she's old. She's not really old. She's just an older artist. I grew up with my mom listening to BB and CeCe Winans. So that's cool. For King and Country, everyone loves For King and Country. Maverick City Music, the new worship band that everyone is concerned about. Which they had this new song, Bless Me. That's what it's called. And it's a very interesting song and a little questionable. And I've thought about doing a video, either doing a video on it or an episode on it. I'm not sure. But it was Maverick City Music and Kirk Franklin. But I guess I had Maverick City Music. I had one of their songs in my top 10 of 2020. But I'm not so sure what I think about them now. But anyways, We the Kingdom, they're kind of like the new updated Rend Collective, sort of. Still not really great. Zach Williams, he's like the country Christian music crossover guy, I think. Like his music is still very Christian, but it has like a sort of like country influence to it. So, yeah. So that's all of them. Mostly very very predictable nominees for Artist of the Year, I think. There's nothing except for CeCe Winans. If she won, then I'd be okay with that. Bluegrass Country Roots. They're still doing that. Interesting. Sunday Drive. I need to listen to Keith and Kristen Getty. Wow. Whoop whoop. They're nominees for Album of the Year. That was a good, it was an okay album. It was pretty good. And I don't really know anyone else here. But is there any other category I should check out? There's just a lot. We'll react to yeah, we'll react to them when the winners win. So but yeah, okay. Interesting stuff. We'll see how that all comes down. Let's see. What time are we at? Yeah, I think it's probably time for a break. And we'll get back to some more news. Some more big, spicy, tasty news. And yeah, we'll see ya in a few minutes. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Say we'll be right back, Lisa.
We'll be right back, Lisa.
Thanks. Okay.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Welcome back.
Guess you guys got a little bit of inside baseball there, behind the scenes there, if anyone could actually hear me. What you heard was me encouraging my baby because I love her.
Hmm.
Anyways, yeah, I should remember to mute that. It's a good thing I didn't say anything controversial that could get me canceled or anything. Like I don't like Mercy Me. Oops, I already said that. Okay. So, did you send me another article already?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, you did. Planet Shakers. All right. I met Planet Shakers a long time ago as well. I used to be a huge fan of Planet Shakers because they were so cool. For those of you who don't know me, I grew up in the Assemblies of God. Also, Lisa is eating a snack. She got sandwich. What kind of sandwich is it?
I have hiccups now.
Oh no.
PB and J.
Oh, nice. That sounds good. I haven't eaten anything yet. It's so cute, baby. Anyway, you got to do the thing where you open up your eye and you bring in. Oh, also Lucy is here too. And you bring in your finger closer, like as close as you can get. I have my glasses on so I can't really do it. You bring it as close as you can.
I tried that before, and all I did was poke my eye when I hiccuped.
Well, it always works for me. You know, because you're like,
good.
So you have to like get it as close to your eyeball as possible. You like slowly bringing it in, and it helps because you're like concentrating too much on your finger, and so your breathing kind of gets more under control. But anyways, so I was saying Planet Shakers, I grew up in the Assemblies of God, and I was they had a thing called Fine Arts, National Fine Arts. It's this big, I always have a hard time explaining it because some people are like, oh, it's the Christian American Idol. It's not really. It's just this program, Assemblies of God program that was developed to help high school students develop their gifts and talents, like their ministry gifts or their, I guess, just talents in general. They had singing categories. They had a book chapter writing category, which I did, and I loved it. They had, like short story. They had human videos, and drama, which I was always great at. And they had Christian band, which my old band, We're All Lucas, we did some, we did fine arts. And so it's like, it starts at this state level thing, and then it's a national thing, and it's this whole big national thing. And they also had, not only was it the National Fine Arts, but it was also the National Assemblies of God Youth Convention. So anyone who was in a youth group in the Assemblies of God Church could go to the National Youth Convention, and they had it in places like Florida and such. And they would always have like big acts do the worship for the whole, and it's a whole week thing. They once had Sanctus Real do the worship, and that was before they like got really big, because Sanctus Real is actually, as far as I know, they started out in Assemblies of God. I'm pretty sure they're Assemblies of God kids. And I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, David Crowder band did worship there. So I got to see David Crowder do it. But they had Planet Shakers do it, and they kind of started. They became like a big favorite for the National Youth Convention, because Planet Shakers ended up doing the worship like multiple years. It felt like. And me and my sister Leah were there at Fine Arts for the first year that they did Planet Shakers. And I don't know, I just thought that they were so cool. I must have been like 12 or 13, I think. And I got in a picture with them. They had which in retrospect is really weird for a worship band to have a signing booth, like an autograph signing booth, meet and greet kind of thing. But I did it, and I was a happy little camper, because they're from Australia, because I thought that was cool. And so yeah, I used to be a big fan. They're not really my cup of tea anymore. But anyways, they've also changed a lot. Like they don't have their original worship leader, and I kind of miss him, but it's not really like I listen to them anymore. Nashville, Tennessee, not national. Nashville, Tennessee. Planet Shakers has globally released Greater from Venture 3 Media, available now at all major digital and streaming outlets. The album was recorded live at Planet Shakers' Greater Conference in Melbourne, Australia, earlier this year. Greater is a full production experience featuring the core Planet Shakers worship team, consisting of Joth Hunt, Sam Evans. Actually, I think Sam Evans is the one worship leader that I liked. Andy Harrison, Josh Hamm, Amy Evans, Noah Walker, Chelsea Nicorud, and Rudy Nicorud, and more. Produced and mixed by Hunt, who also wrote or co-wrote all but one title on the album. The 11-song recording was inspired by Pastor Russell Evans. Pastor Russell, he's their pastor, has a God-given theme for every year, and for 2022, the theme is Greater, says Hunt, who wrote the title track with Pastor Sam Evans. In Planet Shakers, we really tried to connect with a theme that God has given us, tapping into the prophetic word that Pastor Russell shares. God is greater. He is greater than any circumstance that we may face, and our trust in him will see us overcome any obstacle and see victory over every enemy that may come our way, declares Pastor Sam Evans. With this belief in our hearts and that declaration in our mouths, we will experience greater than our highest thoughts and prayers. And it just kind of goes into more of the album and just like their thoughts behind it. Let's look at the title tracks. Beauty for Ashes, Number One Sound. Planet Shakers kind of has a knack for having titles to songs that are like, that's a worship song. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have any? What's your opinion on Planet Shakers, Lisa?
I remember really liking them in college.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is probably about the time you were in high school and liked them.
Okay, just taking that opportunity to show how much of a baby I am.
Such a small baby.
There's only like 2 years difference between us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. They're not really my cup of tea anymore. I've found in recent years that I look for different things in worship, and Planet Shakers, at least when I remember them, when I was last listening to them, they're all about the flash and the like, more so than Hillsong. I feel like they're like crazy. I mean, they're talented musicians. Like, you listen to it, and it's actually their musicianship is a little underrated, I feel like. But in terms of worship, there's just too much. I felt like that there was just too much emphasis on the pomp and splendor. Like, you watch their videos, especially for their more upbeat songs, you got guitarists doing like backflips and all that, and I'm just like, no, that's
I'm just like, No.
Yeah, I I'm over that. I'm so over that whole scene of worship music. I mean, it's fine if anyone out there likes it. I just it's too distracting for me, and for me it's too much. Hey, look at me. And here's the thing: is that I used to be a part of that. I used to be in a part of worship, and especially at this one church that I was a part of. I wasn't the worship leader, but I was a part of the band. They kind of encouraged, like, hey, any way that you can move your body to get people into the worship, do it.
Hmm.
And I was all for that. I was all for, like, hey guys, let's get moving, let's get jumping and all that. And and so I was a part of that, and I'm just like, no, I listen to much more simpler things now, and the things that I look for are much more, it's much more focus on the lyricism and such. That's why I like groups like Sovereign Grace Music, and like Shane and Shane, and the City of Light, which actually I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about their new album in a Christian music review at the end. We should have time for that. And I don't know, that kind of stuff just moves my heart a lot more than the whole, like, let's get crazy for Jesus. And maybe it's because I'm older now, and
Yeah.
I'm not the spring
You're
chicken that I
older,
once
but
was.
still a small, small baby.
I was, and I was so into that kind of stuff back in the day. But either way, okay. So Planet Shakers, they had this one song. The Holy Spirit's got me pumping, going with the beat, this place is jumping. 'Cause to the sound, the demons can't stand it. 'Cause for now we're gonna shake this planet. Yeah, it was a bop. But I would not be comfortable worshiping to that today.
Oh.
But you change. You grow and you change. All right, let's get to this next one. Jesse Garcia leaves Building 429. Oh no. Anyways, I don't know if any of you are familiar with that Top Gear meme where the one host, I don't watch Top Gear because I'm not a car guy, but I'm familiar enough with it. But the one guy's like, oh no, this report just happened. And then the other guy is just like, oh no. Anyways, I'm saying that because, like, Building 429, I never thought that they were anything special. That, like, even back in the day when they first started, listening to their music, it's like, what's special about this? This is just any other Christian, which you can say that about, like, almost any band. But I feel like Building 429 is one of the most egregious examples of this. But I'm interested. I'm interested to know. I don't know the members of Building 429, so is this the lead singer? We'll find. Oh no, it's the guitarist. Recently on social media, Building 429's guitarist Jesse Garcia announced that he'll be moving on from the band. Lead singer Jason Roy said in a live stream that he thinks Jesse is ready for the next chapter in his life. After much prayer and counsel, the time has now come for me to get off the road and step away from Building 429, Jesse posted on Instagram. This decision isn't taken lightly. The past couple of years have brought significant challenges. However, I feel God is once again calling me to step out in faith. Well, at least it's not because he's deconstructing. I mean, at least as far as we can tell. Because I read the article and I was like, uh-oh, I'm getting Hawk Nelson flashbacks. But I'm so grateful for Jesse Garcia, Jason Roy shared. Jesse has been my hero since I met him as a teenager in Texas. He's one of the greatest guitar players I've ever met in my life. Aww. Read Jesse's full post here. Oh, and that's it. Huh? Okay, well, I'm sure that sucks for them, and I'm sure that sucks for Building 429 fans, but they'll find someone else. And they'll sound just the same as they ever have. The band members come and go, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on that? Were you ever a Building 429 fan?
No.
Do you even know like any of their songs?
I'm sure I've probably heard one on K-Love or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can't even remember my own videos, but Building 429 made it on my top 10 worst list of 2020.
Oh.
Not because like oh yeah, I can't even remember the name of the song, but it was weird because like it started out with this upbeat kind of feel to it, you know, very poppy kind of sound. And then there's this part like just before the chorus where it just switches gears into like a worship song basically, and it just changes the whole momentum of the song. It's like, oh come on, like it's not, I mean the song wasn't great, but like at least you had like an energy going. And then they did that Christian music thing where they just had to make it just a little worshipful, and then they go back into the chorus and it's like, yeah, we're upbeat again.
Hmm.
And then they had that one song that is the only song that anyone really recognizes as a Building 429 song. It's the one that goes, all I know is that I'm not home yet. This is not where
Is
I belong. Yeah.
um,
Yeah. See, yeah,
yeah,
you know
that
that
song.
one. But you didn't know it was Building 429.
No, I thought it was Mercy Me. Oops.
See, there you go. That's what I'm saying. Christian music, you're funny. I don't like being one of those old geezers that are like, oh, the 90s was best music. But yeah, the 90s were like the last decade where Christian music was great. Well, there was some pretty great stuff in the early 2000s. I mean, you had some really great Newsboys stuff, and but that was kind of when music was starting to get bland. But like at least the 90s, you knew who you were listening to when anything played most
Mm.
of the time. Like, because there was such a vibrance, and like everything sounded unique and different, and artists had their own voice for the most part. So it's sad, but I'm not going to get into that rant again. I'm sure I've had it multiple times on this channel. Okay,
I
what
have
else?
one more.
One more. Okay. Oh boy, it's my favorites.
Your favorite. My favorite.
Bethel.
Actually, my favorite.
Are
Not
they actually
Clifford.
your favorite?
Kind of.
Kind of. You need to listen to better music.
Do you hear? Do you hear the disappointment in Clifford's voice?
Well, you need to
The
rewatch
utter
my video on them again and be convinced. Nah, see, I mean, I'll
I've
just
been too positively impacted by Bethel music.
no,
to
no,
be
yeah, I get it.
critical.
I mean, I can't say that I haven't been at some point in my life. It's just that these days, oh, what is opening up on my, oh, okay. My screen, my browser went white for a second. These days, it's just very, okay, so most people know about like the controversy with Bethel. Uh, Brian
Well,
Johnson.
Have you said what the album or what
Oh,
the
no, do you want me to read it before I get into my qualms with Bethel?
yes.
Okay. Okay, my bad. You're doing great work. I don't mean to uh ignore it. Grammy nominated, internationally renowned artist collective Bethel Music has announced their long awaited follow up to 2021's Peace Volume 2. So it's a sequel, so it's a Volume 3. The new album, titled Simple, is a reflection of God's grace and the joy and the simplicity of the life that He has given us all. It also serves as a reminder to step back and enjoy each day as it comes. Recorded in Redding, California. Well, of course, that's where they're from. This past spring, Simple features longtime Bethel music artists Jen and Brian Johnson. David Funk. Is that really his name? David
Yeah,
Funk.
I've known some people with last names Funk.
That's funky.
Jacob Funk.
Okay. Emmy Rose and Paul and Hannah McClure, as well as newcomers John Wilde and Zariah Zachary. I'm sure that's a name that's very confusing to get down. In addition, special guests Mitch Wong, Zach and Abby Vestnis, Sydney Allen, and Michaela Gentile.
Michaela.
Michaela, yeah.
I only know Michaela because that's how my friend Michaela spells her name.
Really? Mostly I know people who spell it Mikaayla. But anyways, they round out the album. In addition to announcing Simple, Bethel Music has released the first single from the album, I Still Believe. Did you know I was going to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is led by Brian Johnson. It's the name of the song, I Still Believe. In talking about the song, Brian shares, we had a bunch of things going on, the kind of things in life that challenge your faith, which I think everyone can relate to. Like all those people on What the Verdict posting about how much they hate us. The result is a moving testament of faith, which speaks to the choice to hold on to what you believe, that Jesus will be with you always. Okay. So another new album from Bethel.
This is I don't know where you get your news from, but this is the only news on Christian music that I could find was this stuff.
That's okay. No, it's good. I mean, it was a risky thing to like. I guess I was hoping for like, I don't know, maybe we'll have like another like Gavi story, which is not a good thing to be excited about. It was like, it's like who's gonna be the new like deconstructed artist or whatever, you know? It's like there has to be something within a month, but I guess like, you know, Christian news world is like not, it's not always that active. So, but no, I appreciate it. Well, I got some other sources as well. And like I said, I didn't have to like react to everything that is like just exclusively Christian music. We can see what else happened, what else other people have done, have sent me. But no, I appreciate it. I appreciate the effort that you put into it. I didn't really even know what was, you know, how to go about this exactly, but we have some other stuff. I mean, are we over Bethel? Or
yes.
If you guys want to know my problems with Bethel, you can watch my video that I did. I think it's called I don't know what to do about Hillsong Bethel, and elevation worship, something along those lines. But it's not like that I'm like totally opposed to like listening to like Worship Initiative. I've talked about before. They cover other worship songs, and oftentimes they'll pick a Bethel song or a Hillsong, and like I can listen to it and be like, you know, that's one of the good ones. You know, that's a good one. They can have good stuff, and I'm a little bit more comfortable with hearing other people cover it rather than listening to it directly, so that I'm not like supporting them directly, because I'm just not really comfortable with them as a ministry. Really, I think there's too much stuff that needs to be dealt with, too much teaching that is very questionable, that should be, you know, there should be some repentance. And I've heard a lot of stories with people who were a part of like the Bethel school who kind of got spiritually abused there. So
A lot of stories.
yeah, quite. I mean, I don't know, maybe not a lot, a few. But I mean, it's a thing. So yeah, I'm just not very comfortable with them as a ministry. But like I said, I'm not one of those people that is just like there's people out there, like I talk about the What the Verdict group on Facebook. They're like, anyone who like affiliates at all with them, with Bethel or Elevation Worship or Hillsong, they can't be trusted. They're all heretics. And I'm like, no, I don't even believe that everyone at those churches are heretics. I think it's more of a leadership and pastoral thing. And so that's why like I wouldn't really have any excuse me. Like Brandon Lake's stuff, you know, he has his own solo stuff now that is separate from Elevation Worship. You know, I might have my, you know, reservations about him still being involved in Elevation, but it's not like I'm gonna hate every music that he does. I mean, he did a song with Judah, the guy from Judah and the Lion, and it's a pretty decent song. So anyways, so yeah, I'm not like 100% in that camp that like everything Bethel or Elevation or Hillsong needs to be burned. Sorry, I keep having a frog in my throat. It's all this talking about Bethel. Anyways, so our friend Agent Serenity, who couldn't be here for the stream today, sent me some stuff. So let's take a look at it. This is an article from Christianity Today. Chinese Christian pop star GEM's new song is Courageous. So I guess it's this artist her stage name is GEM or GEM. It's like spelled out as an acronym, so I don't know if I should say GEM or GEM. I guess her real name is Deng Zikis, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing it. Deng Ziki's Gloria music video embeds gospel messages and shares a journey from wasteland to gospel hope. In July 2022, the singer GEM, Chinese name Deng Ziki, released her 14-track album Revelation. On August 9th, the music video of the album's first song, Gloria, was released online. Gem, I'm just going to call her Gem. Gem also recorded and released a short video sharing her spiritual journey in the creation of the song. Deng, nicknamed China's Taylor Swift, oh, interesting, is one of China's most popular and successful female singers. She is a Christian who has openly talked about her faith on social media. Well, that's awesome, especially in China, of all places. Because like, isn't it kind of illegal to for churches to meet there, or am I thinking of someplace else? I know there's like an underground church in China or something. Or maybe
There's like
yeah.
there's state-run churches and then there's underground churches.
Right, yeah. So like if you want to have a church, it has to be state run. And I guess a lot of Christians are like, "No, we don't want to do that. We don't want to be state run," which good for them. But okay, so I guess it's not like illegal to be a Christian. I'm sorry for that information. She is okay. Yeah, she's a Christian who's openly talked about her faith on social media. She said in the recorded message that Gloria was actually her real English name given to her by her father when she was a child. She liked this name very much since childhood because it feels like being full of glory, and she named the song after her real name to present the real me to everyone without framing. The background of most scenes in the Gloria music video is a gray, desolate wasteland. The computer-generated imagery creates a vibe of the metaverse. The singer stands in the wasteland with tears falling into the wilderness. She walks into the afterland only to find it is not paradise, but a place full of pain and numbness. However, the light of hope gently shines through, and the singer hears a whisper from heaven that was indistinct and healing. She slowly turns around and walks through ruins to a seaside where the dawn is emerging. I know I should probably be watching the music video rather than describing it, but I don't want to get copyright stricken or anything, so I'll definitely have to check this out afterwards. The background begins to change color. As the singer is moved to tears and kneels to pray, the sea parts. As the lyrics of "I'm waiting for you to come back" play, she walks toward a glowing door. Deng said that she hopes the visual effects of the music video will create an immersive experience for the audience as they walk with me through those moments of pain, despair, and redemption. She said that the inspiration for the entire Revelation album came from a supernatural experience she encountered. One day, overwhelmed by sadness, she was crying and praying in the bathroom. When she began humming a melody unconsciously in the shower, she began to feel it bringing her peace, transcending her circumstances. The inspiration for an album emerged. She wanted to use her new song to speak of her struggles, heartbreaks, and prayers, and to remember how God answered prayers to redeem and bless her. Jem, now 31, grew up in Hong Kong. An alumna of Christian education, she learned to sing in her school choir. In 2008, at the age of 16, she debuted in Hong Kong with her first solo EP, GEM, and began touring around the world. In 2014, Deng entered the entertainment industry in mainland China, wow, I can't talk, and competed on the singing competition show I Am a Singer 2, a contest that sent her popularity soaring across the country. She is known as the Iron Lung Girl Singer due to her wide vocal range. I really thought that it was going to say due to the fact that she has an iron lung. Like an actual...
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Oh.
She is the first Chinese-speaking singer whose music videos have exceeded 200 million views on YouTube, and the only Asian musician on Forbes' 2016 list of 30 under 30. But there were tears and pain behind the glamour of success. In addition to the critics and rumors that characterize the entertainment industry, Jem also faced heat for her supposed political stance, even though she did not like to talk about politics publicly. Some who support the Hong Kong pro-democracy movement accused her of supporting the then chief executive, Leung Chun-ying, who they saw as the Chinese government's pawn. On the other side, Chinese censorship officials placed her on a list of strictly controlled persons because she prayed for Hong Kong in bitter tears during the Occupy Central movement in 2014. Jem has spoken publicly about often feeling physically and mentally wasted and has broken down at concerts multiple times. Aww. But she also admitted on social media that it was her faith in God that kept her through the hardships of her career and allowed her to grow in trials. I gradually learned that the result is not the most important thing because whether it's a failure or a success, I would gain experiences either way, she said. I think everyone is a walking witness to other people. Gloria is not Deng's first song that contains elements of the Christian faith. She wrote and sung Heartbeat and Walk on Water with gospel implications before. In the lyrics of Gloria, Deng repeatedly talks about love, using biblical language such as, "Do not be afraid, there is no fear in love, and love never fails." Wow, this seems like a pretty long article, but yeah, I think that's pretty good for now. But wow, that's pretty crazy. I've never heard of her. The Taylor Swift of China, I guess. That's pretty awesome. I'm pretty intrigued, and I want to learn more about her. She seems like a pretty cool girl. I won't pretend to know anything about Chinese politics, but I totally like empathize with her, with like kind of feeling like you're in the middle in some areas and kind of being attacked on both sides. You know, that's I understand that, and that's really cool that she's, you know, that strong about her faith. I mean, even though like Christianity isn't illegal in China, I'm sure it's not easy to be a public figure in that country and have Christian faith, you know. And the concept for that song sounds cool. I'm not My prediction is that it might not be music that relates to me really, but I'm willing to check it out for sure. I'll have to check it out and maybe share my thoughts on it in a future show. But yeah, I don't know, anything that stood out to you about that? No. Yeah, it's kind of
me on the
sorry. I'm just making sure that you're not, you know, being left out. I'm trying to be inclusive.
No, I'm not left out. I'm okay.
Okay. But yeah, I want to look more into her. Agent Serenity also, it seems that he tried to send me an article about Toby Mac's thoughts on the release of an album that is very personal and meaningful, but there's no link. And I tried to message him.
Oh, I was going to send you something like that. It was going to make the show a little bit darker.
Oh, really?
Because he talked to Good Morning America about his son.
Oh. Well, let's
passing away.
Let's do it. Can you find that article and send it to me?
Yes.
Let's get the waterworks going on this show. And some of you may know, like, I've had my problems with Toby Mac in different areas, different aspects of his career, and you know, maybe his politics and his philosophy, but any longtime fans would probably know that I put his song, the one that he wrote about his son, as my number one favorite song from 2020, because it was just it was very meaningful and very raw and emotional, and it's just like, yes, that's what we need more of in Christian music. Not that I'm like celebrating in anyone's grief, but it's like, I'm sure Toby Mac isn't the only one who struggles with stuff like this. Why don't we hear more about this in Christian music, you know? So, all right. Gospel Music Association. What?
I sent you 2.
Oh, okay. Well, this one, Toby Mac talks about the loss of his son on Good Morning America. Or wait, is that just the... Oh, that's a video. It's just a video. Let me check out the other one.
Oh, whoops.
That's okay. No, I mean it looks like an article, but all that is in the article is just a link to the video. We'll read it from CCM Magazine. Nashville, Tennessee multi-platinum Christian music artist Toby Mac, which by the way, I was reminded recently that his first name is actually Kevin. I totally forgot that his first name is Kevin. But he just goes by Toby McKeon or Toby Mac. Toby Mac's greatly anticipated 7th studio recording, Life After Death, is now available everywhere. ABC's Good Morning America will broadcast his first exclusive TV interview in nearly 3 years. Oh, on Monday, August 22nd. I guess probably because of COVID. The current single from Life After Death, The Goodness, continues its trajectory up multiple radio charts, currently continuing to grow at top 5 on Christian Airplay and top 10 on AC monitored and AC indicator charts. I haven't listened to it yet. I'm catching up on my top chart entry songs because I want to do a top 10 or 20 list at the end of the year. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, I'm catching up on all the top songs. So I haven't listened to this. Life After Death chronicles my journey from the depths of the deepest valley to the beauty of God's promise that he will never leave us. Ain't no doubt about it, he is still the goodness in my life, Toby Mac says about the project. Next week in Nashville, Toby Mac is inviting his fans to join him for a free, one-night-only 360 immersive audio and visual experience of Life After Death on August 25th, 2022. Woo, okay. Wonder how that went, because that obviously already happened. Sponsored by Amazon Music, the event is free, but a reserved timed ticket is required for entry. Hosted at Nightscape in downtown Nashville, fans can expect a one-of-a-kind experience as they enjoy the colorful artwork from the record via 360 projection, mapping, and customizable pixel lighting. Attendees will hear Toby Mac share his story of writing the album, highlight special tracks and moments along the way, and offer exclusive merch only available that night. I want to skip ahead. Is there anything where he actually talks about goes in depth about it? I guess not. That's okay. Life After Death reaches 15 tracks, including previously released songs, 21 Years. That was the one. And Help Is on the Way, Maybe Midnight, which went number 1. I thought those were already released. I guess those were just singles. I guess. Okay, those will be on there. Also featured is Promised Land. That's actually also a good song. That came out a little while ago. The third most added song at Christian radio in 2021, which peaked at number 2 on the AC indicator and AC monitor charts. Blah, 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 blah. Along with the newly released hit track, The Goodness. Oh, actually, I have listened to it. That's the one with Blessing Offor. Whatever his name, however you say his name. Blessing Offor. Because it's spelled Offor for some reason. So yeah, I have heard it. Also, I heard about... Whoa, wait, what? Also making guest appearances on the album are Sheryl Crow. Sheryl Crow. I used to live in her hometown. Kennett, Missouri. That was their only claim to fame. You drive into town and there's the Welcome to Kennett, Missouri sign and it says hometown of Sheryl Crow. No joke. So that's interesting. Is she a Christian then, I guess? Or maybe a celebrity Christian? I don't know. Who knows but the Lord.
Be a friend.
Yeah. I guess he's pulling a Chris Tomlin when he had Florida Georgia Line on his album. Zach also features Zach Williams, Wande. I don't know who that is. Tyrion Sarah Reeves, Torrin Wells, Michael Tate, and Kevin Max. I did hear about that, so we're going to have a DC Talk reunion for this album, it sounds like. Corey Asbury and Gabe Reel. I like that. Okay, so when was that supposed to come out? That already came out. So I'll definitely have to give that one a listen because it's Toby Mac. So I'm interested because this is the first album that's come out since the death of his son, or at least the first one that he's been able to write since the death of his son. So what I'm hoping for is maybe a more honest kind of album with more honest kind of lyricism. We'll see. But I still can't get over Sheryl Crow. I guess we'll see how that goes. But okay, I'll listen to the Toby Mac album when that comes out, and it's out. I'll listen to it when I listen to it. I also so I know I talked a lot of maybe some criticisms on What the Verdict, but there's another group that I actually like more. That's called What the Verdict, Let's Get Serious. Because What the Verdict is more for memes and jokes. What the Verdict, Let's Get Serious is more about like, hey, let's actually have some like discussion about stuff. So I made a post on there to see if anyone else might have some spicy stuff. And I'm looking at the comments for the first time. Doesn't really look like a lot. But first comment was actually one of the news that I was spoiled about. Matt Chandler has stepped down. And I heard about that, and I still don't know what the reason is. So we're going to find out. We're going to look into it. Because, Matt Chandler is a pretty big deal. I have mixed opinions about him. First time I ever really heard about Matt Chandler was concerning his stance on racial issues and critical race theory and all that kind of stuff. And there's just a lot that I didn't agree with him about. And I kind of brushed him off as like this, liberal Christian pastor or whatever. But then I watched the documentary American Gospel, which I highly recommend to everyone, honestly. And he was a part of it, and he actually had I was very surprised to find that Matt Chandler is pretty based, as they say, when it comes to his theology. He is like anti-prosperity gospel and all that, and he has a lot of good things to say, and there's a lot that I agree with him theologically. And so yeah, in some ways I respect him, and in some ways like I don't really agree with you right here. And I find that, well, first of all, I would highly recommend Vodi Baucham's book, Fault Lines. If you want to know my beliefs and opinions when it comes to racial issues and such, critical race theory, Black Lives Matter, you can read that book. It's a great book. So, and Vodi Baucham kind of goes into how it's not like that if you like follow certain philosophies of critical race theory that means you're not a Christian or anything or a heretic, but there are some things, if you go too far deep into critical race theory, it can kind of contradict the gospel message. So that's the shaky ground, you know. I don't know how far Matt Chandler is down there, but as far as I know, I wouldn't call him a heretic or anything. He just has some beliefs that I don't agree with. It's some secondary stuff, and that's what it is. So anyways, I have no idea what's gone on with this whole situation, so I'm about to find out. This article is from CBN News. Evangelical leaders react as megachurch pastor Matt Chandler steps back over unguarded online behavior. Interesting. This is a more recent article, so hopefully it has all the stuff that I need to know. Conservative and evangelical leaders are speaking out after Pastor Matt Chandler took a leave of absence following some questionable behavior online. The village church leader agreed to step down for a period of time. Okay, so it's not permanent. After voluntarily disclosing that he had inappropriate communication with a woman on Instagram who was not his wife. Here we go. This is the Gavi story that I was looking for. It's so wrong, but we are strong proponents of brothers and sisters in Christ being friends, but there are boundaries around what's appropriate in these kinds of friendships. A pastoral role requires a greater awareness of those boundaries. The village church elders wrote in an August statement. Sorry, that was one sentence there. In this case, while the messages were not romantic or sexual in nature, the frequency and familiarity of the messages crossed a line. They revealed that Matt did not use language appropriate for a pastor, and he did not model a behavior that we expect from him. In an August 28 sermon, Chandler told his megachurch that's based in Flower Mound, Texas, that a woman approached him concerned about messages he was having with her friend via Instagram. At the time when she brought it up, I saw no issue with it. He explained, my wife knew about it. This woman's husband knew about it. And so I kind of pushed against that not being okay. So she said some things in that conversation, though, that were really disorienting for me. Chandler said following that conversation, he spoke with TVC elders and his wife. The accusations brought up some concerns that although my DMing... this is a quote from Chandler. The accusations brought up some concerns that although my DMing with this woman was not romantic, nor was it ever sexual, it was unguarded and it was unwise, Chandler said. And the way that played itself out was in a kind of frequency and familiarity that is not wise for someone in my position. Elder Chairman Jasian Swords, that's an interesting name, Jasien, and the last name Swords, and fellow pastor and elder Josh Patterson, along with other leaders, made the decision to hire an independent law firm identified by the New York Times as Castaneda and Heidelman to conduct a review of Chandler's messaging history on Instagram, other social media platforms, cell phone, and email. Leaders concluded Matt violated their internal social media use policies, but it did not rise to the level of disqualification. They added that it indicated some unhealthy behavior patterns in his life. The elders have decided, and I think they're right, that my inability to see this for what it was revealed something not right, something unhealthy in me, Chandler said. And I don't know if that's tied to the pace I run or the difficulty of the last 6 or 7 years, but I agree with them. Although leaders made the decision to have Chandler take a leave of absence, he assured the congregation that he would be their pastor for another 20 years. Oh, so there is a time. Just 20 years. His wife Lauren is publicly supporting him during this season, posting a photo of her looking up at him adoringly. She writes on Instagram, "This sits on Matt's green room desk. It's been there for years. That look in my eyes, still there after 23 years married and 25 together. Still there today. He is the man you hope he is," she continues. "Thank you to everyone who has sent kind and encouraging messages. Your prayers are treasured and felt. If I could give each of you a big hug, I would." Meanwhile, the Global Church Planning Network, Acts 29, where Chandler served as president and chairman, also asked him to step down from speaking engagements. Acts 29 prioritizes personal integrity and holds our leaders to a high standard of conduct. Considering the findings of the TVC investigation and consistent with the leave of absence from preaching and teaching that the Village Church has placed Matt on, the Acts 29 board has asked Matt to step aside from Acts 29 speaking engagements during this time, it said. Chandler's decision to step down is both being applauded and criticized. I don't really care what anyone else... the whole article kind of just goes into what people think about it. I don't have to go into it. I personally think that's awesome. I think that's great. This goes exactly into what we've talked about on the show before. Speaking of the whole Gavi situation, this is... I don't know, my first reaction is that I get a lot of hope from this, you know? Like yeah, I can see how some people see it as like such a small thing. I mean, I don't know what the conversations were exactly. I mean, apparently they weren't romantic or sexual. But I guess they were just a little too comfortable, I guess. I don't know. But still, and I guess I can say this as someone who, you know, who has worked at a church before and does understand the boundaries that you have to set for yourself when it comes to relationship with your congregant members. I totally understand this move, and I understand their concerns about it because, yeah, especially when it comes to relationships with females in your congregation, and especially if you're married, you have to set yourself some standards that maybe to the regular person doesn't seem normal. Like, when you're a pastor and you're married, especially, you have to be careful with how comfortable you are around female congregant members, because you don't want the wrong intentions to be communicated. And I mean, maybe they are, like, maybe there are pastors out there who are intending to flirt with other females. It's just you have to be above reproach, and I personally think that's admirable, and I am glad. Like, in contrast with the Gavi story, Matt Chandler, I think, is being very respectable about this. He's not arguing or anything. He's like, yeah, maybe I don't see this as wrong, but my elders do. So I am putting myself under the authority of my elder team. And I think that's great. That's also just an example of a pastor who doesn't, lord over everyone. I feel like that there are a lot of examples of pastors who think that they're hot stuff and they don't have to listen to anyone. But that's why churches usually, at least should, put like elder teams in place so that the pastor has someone to answer to. So I think that this gives me a lot of hope for the future. This is exactly what we've talked about with problems, you know, that have happened in the past with Gavi. What are so? I mean, Ravi Zacharias and all that. I think that this is very smart because honestly, you can't. I mean, whether Matt Chandler had wrong intentions or not, you have to stop those things like early on, you know? Like what would have happened if Ravi Zacharias had someone in his life who was like who like challenged him at the first questionable thing? We don't do that enough. You know, it was like, "Hey, I saw that you were being a little too comfortable with this girl." You know, like, well, you know, I wasn't being inappropriate or anything. He's like, but yeah, but you weren't really talking to her like a pastor should be talking to. You know what I'm saying? You know, like what if Ravi Zacharias had something like that in his life? I mean, maybe he did, and he's just a person who really didn't listen um, to advice from people, and maybe it's the same thing for Gavi. I don't know, but I don't know about you. I find it very, very respectful. You know, I realize I'm looking at my camera and my screen as if I'm talking to you, Lisa, but I realize that the other camera is pointing in another direction, so it probably doesn't look like that I'm actually talking to you. But but yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts about this, if any, at all? Your first impressions?
Similar.
Yeah.
Similar. I think, too, it's probably good for people as big as Matt Chandler to have, like, times where they step down. Just so that fame doesn't go to their head. Kind of like Francis Chan does when he just, like, goes away.
Yeah.
And preaches at, like, small church in the middle of Asia.
Yeah.
Just, like, I don't know. That's my thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's what he was saying in that quote where he's like, maybe this is just a result of the pace that I've been going, and you know, so it sounds like that maybe he does need a break, you know. So yeah. Yeah, every pastor needs a break, you know. Don't be a workaholic if you're on staff at a church, you know. Rest is very important for sure. Especially when you're Matt Chandler. I mean, he's a big dude in in terms of popularity. You know, he's up there. I love there's a meme with Matt Chandler with, you know how a lot of people in Christianity and in the church, like a lot of pastors, they take the David and Goliath story and they try to relate it to people's stories where it's like, you know, you got giants in your life. It's like facing the giants, basically. It's like you got giants in your life, and maybe you're like David. And Matt Chandler had this sermon that's kind of famous, and I haven't listened to the whole thing. I've only listened to this snippet, but he's like, basically just like, hey, you're not David. That's not really what the point of the story is. You're not David. And yeah, it's just kind of funny. So yeah, I mean, regardless of any feelings that I may have about Matt Chandler, I still think that he's a brother, and he's got some solid views when it comes to the gospel, which is refreshing these days. I just think that he needs to take a step back when it comes to the critical race theory stuff. Some of the stuff that he's said regarding those things is a bit ridiculous, but excuse me. But okay, that was not what I was expecting at all. I think I had a suspicion that it was going to be something concerning, like, you know, an affair, but I thought that was too easy. That's too obvious. And then I was reading the articles, like, oh, it was. And they're like, wait, no, it wasn't really. But, so that's interesting. But I'm glad I read it. That kind of news makes me happy. I don't know how everyone else feels. Hey, however you guys feel, just leave a comment below in the YouTube video that'll go up later. Okay, well, I'll try not to go much longer with this, because I know we've been going a little while. Are you doing okay, baby? Or
baby is tight.
Okay. Well, if you really need to go, that's okay. But I won't be long. Huh?
Okay. Okay. Thank you for having me on the show.
Okay. Thanks, baby. I love you.
Love you.
Everyone else say how much you love her, but not like I do. Okay. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so there's not much else to talk about anyways. Someone commented on my post on the What the Verdict group, said City of Light dropped a new album, which I already knew, and I'm going to talk about in a little bit. Someone else commented, Jesus is still on the throne and his word is still valid and sufficient. Not much else is needed. I mean, very true, but that's not the point of this show. I would disagree with that last sentence. Not much else is needed. I mean, yes and no. I think it's very important to know the times, to know what's going on in the world. But anyways, someone else commented, don't worry, someone will post this week's news a month later asking if anyone heard about this. Wait, what? Okay, this week's news a month later. Okay. Also, the Vatican is moving all liquid assets from their institutions to their central bank. I'm not even gonna pretend to know anything about what that sentence is. I don't know anything about liquid assets or institutions and such. I'll wait to watch another video of someone else who understands it better than I do. I'm not even gonna tackle that. Sorry, I've been talking a long time. Okay. So that's that. There was some news, and I'm very appreciative of Lisa's help with that. But yeah, it wasn't very spicy in terms of Christian news. I could talk about politics, but not really much time for that. So I think we're just going to move on. We're going to move on and go into Christian music review, which actually I wanted you guys' opinions on this. I think I want to change. I've always wanted like a unique name for this show. I wanted it something different than my Christian reviews. So I think what I'm going to call it is My Humble Opinion. I think it's pretty descriptive in itself. I think people who see that title will be like, oh, it's a review. And also, I like the inclusion of humble, because I've always tried to say, like, this is my humble opinion. My opinion is not the end-all, be-all, so please be graceful. So, anyways, my humble review, not my humble opinion. My humble opinion about the next few things that we're going to talk about. I gotta restart that. I apologize. Sorry, everyone. I'll probably edit this. When I changed into the different scene, my mic was cut off, so I'll have to edit that. So anyone who's confused listening to the or watching the edited version, that's what happened. How's that? Okay, we're back. I apologize. So I'm gonna have to restart that. My humble opinion on Death Rattle, Sing for Me, by Jormanine, Norma Jean, is that I think it's a solid album. I don't listen to a lot of metal music these days, but Norma Jean is one of the few artists that I still respect and appreciate. Although I will say I haven't listened to an album since Wrongdoers, which doesn't really make sense because I liked Wrongdoers, so I don't know why I stopped listening to them. I think there was a couple years where I just kind of stopped caring about metal as much, but I'm getting back into it. There's a few artists that I still appreciate, and I mean I like the Chariot, 68. Even though some of these artists I don't know if you can really classify as metal. I guess hardcore sorta. The Chariot, 68. the ongoing concept, which they have a new album coming out, which I'm really excited about. Maylene and the Sons of Disaster, old Under Oath stuff, you know, that's the stuff that I like. And Death Rattle Sing for me is solid. I think I've heard some Norma Jean fans say that it's kind of so for a Norma Jean album, which I don't really understand, but that's because I haven't really listened to them in a long time. But there's great stuff in here. I've always appreciated Norma Jean's balance between big chaotic sounds and more melodic sounds. It's beautiful, honestly. And there's a lot of that. There's a lot of songs that are great to bop to, and a lot of really good songwriting as well. It seems that the lead singer, I forget his name, he is going through a lot of stuff. There's a lot of emotional rawness to the lyrics, and I like that. And which it's interesting because when I was looking up this album, I realized that there was some news that I missed from like a couple of years ago that was very interesting. The lead singer had a bit of taste of cancel culture. Firstly, because he had said at a show, I think, that, you know, MAGA hats are welcome. People like MAGA people are welcome. And then he posted on Twitter some sort of post that was criticizing Black Lives Matter, and he got canceled sort of for it, which honestly, hearing that news was kind of refreshing to me. It's refreshing to know that people that I can agree with philosophically and politically and such, even religiously, can still make good music. Because I've made the complaint before that usually people who are more on the conservative side don't make great art. That's a generalization. There are exceptions. And Norma Jean is one of them. And I think that's great. It's very refreshing to hear. So that aside, I think it's a good album. It's growing on me the more that I listen to it. So it's just the kind of album that I need to give more time. But yeah, I don't know. Death Rattle Sing for me. If you're a Norma Jean fan, I think you'll definitely like it, even though it seems that some are like, it's okay. But check it out. It's somewhere between a 7 and an 8 so far. So anyways, Death Rattle Sing for me, Norma Jean. And here we got the new City of Light album. This is pretty big because City of Light has not released a full album in years. I think their last album was 2016. And they have released like the odd single every now and again, and I think a couple EPs or something, but they haven't had a full length for a while. And this one is There Is One Gospel. I will say, though, I have a lot of good things to say about this album, but the album art is not one of them. I think it's kind of bad, just in my opinion. They may be great songwriters, but they're not good graphic designers. Not in this instance, at least. They've had good album covers before, but this is not one of them. Anyways, There Is One Gospel is a good album. It's a good worship album. And I tend to review worship albums, worship music differently than I review regular Christian music, because worship music, I think, has a different intention, or at least should have a different intention than, regular music. Because, and I want to say this because some of the issues that I have with like Hillsong and Bethel is that there's the lines between Christian music and worship music are being blurred because we're forgetting what worship music is supposed to be. Worship to God. And this is why I appreciate artists like City of Light, is because they get it. They understand that the lyrics should be pointing towards God. They should be about God. They should be directed to God. If you're reading the lyrics and all you're getting is the main theme that you're getting is that it's about me, it's about people or whatever, then it's not a worship song. Probably not. But I don't get that vibe at all with There's One Gospel. I listen to this album and it's like I can imagine. I would love to sing these songs in a congregation setting. And one thing that I love about City of Light is that they're not personality focused, as opposed to a lot of other worship bands out there. Yes, they have their lead singers to like lead the song. Like you listen to a song and you know who's like that there's a singular voice that is leading the song. But the way that they mix their music is that you hear, I don't know if they have a choir or something, or if their congregation are just really good singers, but you listen to it and you're like, there's not just one person singing ever. Hardly. I don't think so. I didn't catch anything. But like the verses, they're not solos. You got a bunch of backup singers singing along. It's either their whole team of backup singers or their choir or their congregation. I don't know. But it sounds like a bunch of people singing. And that's great. I think that when you listen to it, it allows you to feel more welcomed to sing along rather than let it be a whole solo show, And that's what I like. And there are some songs in here that have some great melodies and beautiful emotional lyrics. I won't say that City of Light is the most like musically creative songwriters, but me personally, I don't always like my worship music to be flashy. Bethel can do that, Hillsong can do that, but City of Light puts a lot more focus on the lyricism, and I appreciate that actually. And if you're not into that, then that's okay. I think maybe Sovereign Grace is a little better in some instances, but anyways, I think it's pretty solid as a worship album, and it has some memorable songs like the title track and This Is the Day. Some good stuff in there. And I would recommend it to anyone. I would recommend it to any worship leaders out there that need some good, solid theological music, and anyone who just needs some music to add to their devotional time. If you do that, that's good too. What else we got? New single from Tyson Motzenbacher. We're on it. He's releasing his new album pretty soon, and Milk Teeth. But his new track, Windy Darling, is another good like pop track, but this one has a lot more, kind of jazzy, not influence, but it has some like 80s kind of saxophone in there. It's really fun, and what I'm expecting from this album is just for it to be like a fun album, kind of nostalgic in theme. So, which actually is kind of a common theme in a lot of Tyson Motzenbacher's music. But yeah, good indie pop alternative track. Windy Darling, I recommend it. And then next up, this is a big one, kind of. Caedmon's Call. They released their first track from the upcoming remake of their self-titled album. Talked about this before when they announced it. So their first track is Hope to Carry On, which I'm pretty sure was track 1 in the self-titled album. So yeah, it's their new remake of the song. And what do I think about it? What is my humble opinion on it? It's good, but it's really not that different from the original in terms of music and lyrics. You know, they didn't change anything. The mix is different, and it sounds more updated. So if any fans out there were expecting an exact duplication of the original song, it's not exactly there. But if you're a fan and you were expecting just like a revised, more updated mix to it, then this is your thing, you know. So yeah, hope to carry on. It's not really that different from the original, except for in those aspects. And if you liked hope to carry on, then you'll like this rendition. I will say, Hope to Carry On wasn't my favorite track from the album, from what I remember. I was much more into tracks like Bus Driver and I Just Don't Want Coffee Tonight. That's my favorite, which ironically are the Derek Webb songs. You guys probably know my feelings about Derek Webb today, which is a interesting point of conversation in this topic, because obviously I just think Derek Webb needs to get saved. He's one of the deconstructed Christian artists and all that, and from what I understand, his beliefs include a lot of universalism and all that, and I just don't think that that's the true gospel. So I think he needs to repent in that area. But I still think that he's a great songwriter, and this album would not be complete without him. So gotta give a little to have a little. Derek Webb's presence on this album taints it a little bit, but at the same time, it wouldn't be a Caedmon's Call album without him. I just wish that he would repent in his views on the gospel. But praying for you, Derek. I love you. I just want that to be clear. I may be cynical, but I still love you. Anyways, so yeah, Hope to Carry On. It's all right. It's good. It's what you would expect, pretty much, from a remake of a 90s folk song. And I think that's it. I think that is it. I don't know what we're going to talk about in the next episode. I think there's a lot to talk about. It's just a matter of what I decide to talk about. So, no promises there. Thanks to Lisa for helping me out on this. I'm back on social media now, so I'm gonna find out like the things that happen politically and such in the political world. That should be exciting. I'll probably watch Dave Rubin's video on it. So we'll see about that. But anyways, thanks guys. Thanks for the support. Thanks for sending in some stuff for me to react to. We'll see if I feel like doing this next year. I mean, I'll always do the social media fast every year because I think it's a good practice for me. But whether I'll do another episode like this, let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. How did you think this went? I really don't know. I felt like that the only like really big news was the Matt Chandler stuff, which is not anyone's fault. There was just, not a whole lot happened in the month of August, but we'll see about next year. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And yeah, I'm still working on audio feed video, which I'm almost done with. Still needs a bit of work, but I'm not putting any timeline on it because my schedule has gotten so busy. I guess for anyone who wants to know, I started 2 new jobs. Oh, yes, I guess I should talk about this. Sorry. Water, 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 water. I started 2 new jobs. And one of those jobs, I'm a crosswalk guard. So I work like just a couple hours a day. And then my other job is a delivery service job where I work at nights, 5 to 9. And so it's taken a while to get used to. It's been a long time since I've had a job where I worked evenings. I'm sorry. All this talking is what it does to my throat. So yeah. So please bear with me. I'm trying to readjust, and I'm switching to where I have to be creative and productive earlier in the day rather than in the evening like I'm used to. So also, with that being said, I did also say, I already said in a video on Twitch that means with this new schedule that I'm having to reschedule my gaming streams. And here's what I'm thinking it's going to be. I think it's going to have to be a Saturday, Sunday thing. But obviously, I already have my I'm Clifford Today streams every other Saturday. So here's what I'm thinking. So next Saturday, I have a regular Stronghold stream. Most likely the same time, 5 to 7 p.m. And then Sunday, same thing. Gaming stream, 5 to 7 p.m. The next week will be I'm Clifford Today's show at noon. No gaming stream that day since I already had this stream. And then Sunday, it would be a gaming stream from 5 to 7. So it'll mostly be on Sundays and just every other Saturday. Unless on a Saturday I'm bored after the I'm Clifford Today show and I decide to do a stream. Heck, I may decide to do one today. I don't know. I really miss it. It's been longer than a week since I've done it. I miss doing those, so I want to get back onto it as soon as I can. So no promises. There's a lot that I have to do today because after every show, I have to do a lot of work. I have to make the audio version. I have to upload this to YouTube. So yeah, which RIP YouTube live stream audience. We miss you and hope to be back on YouTube soon. So I think that's it. So that's my little announcement there. Oh, yeah, I totally forgot that during the ad break, I played a video that I don't even know came across because I couldn't hear the audio. I don't know where the audio went, so I don't know if you guys heard it. And also, the video hasn't been that great in terms of lagginess. So, Sherwood Forest has a new single coming out. We got new music. And it's not a cover song like it was before. We got a new original song coming out September 16th. So follow Sherwood Forest on Spotify, whatever, so that you can be notified when it comes out. I'm really excited. It's a song called Even in the Wild. It's a song that I've been waiting to release as a Sherwood Forest song for a long time. And it's finally coming out. I think the song is technically 5 years old. So, but I'm really excited about it, and we'll probably talk about it on the next stream. Maybe have some sort of Q&A about it. We'll definitely have one when I actually finish a whole EP, which is the plan. But yeah, keep an eye out for that on Spotify, Apple Music, any music platform. I'm really excited about it. So, yeah. Anyways, I'll let you guys go. That is all for Oh, it's a little loud. But yeah, I'm back on the grid. So thanks everyone for watching this. If you like what you saw, be sure to subscribe and leave a like on the video, leave a comment. I'd love to know your thoughts, and leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. Be sure to check out my other podcast, Podward Forecast, that I do with my friend Mitchell. We actually had a new episode come out recently on one of our favorite shows that finished recently, Better Call Saul. So if you're a fan of that, I highly recommend you go check that out. It was a fun episode to do. Yeah, merch. Always a link in the description for merch if you want some apparel that has my name on it so that you can be Clifford too. And yeah, that's all I have for now. Next episode, we talk about whatever we talk about. You guys have a great weekend. Have a great Labor Day weekend, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye. Sorry, I just realized that the outro music isn't in here. Oh boy. OBS is interesting. Okay, I'll put it in.